Hello and welcome everyone to The Unusual Beings, presented by Travel Factory. I am your host Chirag Vithalani. And talking about our today's episode, there's no dearth of startups today where everyone is trying to represent their own ideas, trying to be seen, heard and noticed in a crowd of millions. So let me tell you all, Mayur makes bow ties for a living. Yes, you heard it right. He not only makes designer bow ties, but also he specializes in them. He was one of those who was not at all afraid to take this big risky step and follow his passion. So let me call upon the one who's better known on social media as the BowhoGuy. So welcome Mayur. Thank you so much for being at our show.
Thank you so much, Raj, for inviting me.
Pleasure. So Mayur, to starting with, tell me something about your childhood. How did it all start?
So, I come from a family of 6, middle class family from Bhopal, and it was fun childhood, like any other upbringing जिस बच्चे की होती है, similarly था. It was just that I was a creative person, more than my schooling and everything. I was more, reclined towards creative stuff. I do have like some crazy childhood memories, and I would like to, share it with you.
Please go ahead.
So, मेरी mom जब भी झाड़ू लगाते थे, so that time I used to, wipe the house and clean the house with her, and we used to collect the dust or kachra जो भी निकलता था. And I had a corner in my house, and I used to keep all the kachra there and used to, design something out of it. So one fine day, my chacha I think found out that something is there. It was smelling really bad. But then the moment he opened the curtain, it was like an art piece completely. It was a museum of kachra. Yeah, it was literally a museum of kachra. And then I think my parents realized that okay, I think this guy wants to do something which he's not able to do. And then my sister, asked me to join Bal Bhavan, and where I, studied fine arts and painting. So yeah.
So Mayur, you were into creatives, when you were a child. But then why bow ties? Why only bow ties out of everything?
The question which came to me was not why bow ties, it was like why not bow ties. And then a small research I did, since I was sure, and also I was on budget that time, so I was sure that if it is happening, it is going to go on Instagram and Facebook, because
right.
they were the platform that time.
True.
So a small research on Instagram, whoever are selling bow ties in India, and then Amazon and Hooves.com for that matters and all that thing. So that happened, and I was sure, okay, I think I should, launch a bow tie label, because what the kind of work I am providing, it was not there in the market.
Okay.
So yeah, and I got a call that yeah, I think this is the bow tie thing. जब मैं exhibition के लिए आया था, I think I sold 120 bow ties in one day.
Wow.
Yeah. That was like the call, okay, bow tie it is. I am sure that whatever I'm creating, people are going to like it, and they're appreciating my work. And since the Sati brand was already on Instagram, so that the kind of response I was getting, the more people were loving it, the more I was getting surety about this business.
Mayur, हर एक story के पीछे, with every success there is always a struggle. So, so people who are aspiring to get into probably bow ties or something else, can you please share your struggle with Sati and the bow tie?
I think the struggle word is a very negative word, because now when I sit and think about my struggle and my time when, I was facing such issues with my business, I think I was very positive, and there was no issue as such. Maybe I was lucky, maybe I anyways consider I'm the luckiest guy.
I think, isn't it, Mayur, that when you're so passionate about your own career and what you're doing, this struggle is not struggle at that point.
Exactly. You enjoy
phase.
Everything, like literally coming from Bhopal to Mumbai for sourcing. I was lucky that at least मुझे market को पता था कि मुझे कहाँ जाना और क्या fabric लेना,
Right.
Otherwise, I think for a person who's starting, I think market is going to be challenging part, because you need to have good suppliers, and you need to understand fabrics and everything, because many people they go wrong with fabrics, when you're designing. For example, I'm wearing a denim jacket or a shirt or whatever, so I know what kind of fall I'm going to get, But then in terms of bow tie, because it is a small piece of art, बहुत ही कम fabric लगता है, but then the look, it completely changes the look when you wear a bow tie,
Right.
So that was a challenge कि mix and match कैसे करना है मुझे, and also if people are going to like it or not. If you saw the recent one I did, the velvet bow tie, that was very unusual for me, and it was like a fun thing when I was creating that piece, and then I was tense that whether people are going to like this collection or not, because I think gone over the top this time. So experimentation, apart from experimentation, I think there is no struggle I faced.
And I remember very well that, you know, one day Mayur and I, we were just having a drink and, you know, talking about everything in our lives, and he made a reference to, you know, how he finds his own inspiration and how he's made a subject, a topic for his students to learn where and how to find the inspiration. So Mayur, tell me about that.
So what I feel is, and I face this difficulty at my workplace of inspiring students, you know, and being from a creative field, this is the base, right, of creating anything new is inspiration. If you don't get inspired, you can't create. You'll end up copying things, you know, or mix and match things and sell it on your name, which most of the designers, you know, they're doing it, which I openly say because I see, I mean, no creative stuff in today's time, you know. There are few designers who are actually experimenting and, you know, able to deliver, you know, what I am expecting or what, you know, creative people are expecting in the market. So I always tell my students, especially in design process subject, that, you know, you need to be open about things. You need to keep your eyes open and also avoid social media. Because in today's time, when we have social media like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and all these platforms where we go to find an inspiration, that is not enough. Because what they are providing you is the ready look. You know, that ready look can't inspire you. For the raw inspiration, you need to be open about things. You need to be welcoming. You need to talk to people who are unknown to you, and also experiment. ज़रा क्या होगा, खराब बनेगा ना.
Very important.
Very important, because when I started experimenting with my clothing, you know, because I think until 2012 I was a very normal guy, you know, those slippers, flip-flops, denim and a t-shirt guy. But then I promised myself that, you know, I am a designer. You know, I'm a part of this industry. I need to be visible and presentable all the time. The moment I'm stepping out of my house, people are going to judge me what I'm wearing on that, you know. So I started experimenting on that more. So it was a challenge in that term also, because again I was going out of my comfort zone, you know. I never thought that print is going to be my comfort zone now. You have seen my wardrobe, a lot of prints I have.
So many prints, and sometimes I want, like, listen, can I please steal that shirt?
It will not fit you though.
What is that one fashion mantra that you would like to give people for 2019?
Oh God.
Listen, everybody.
Don't follow anyone.
Oh.
That's what I'm going to say. Literally, because I'm telling you, since, you know, I have started the BowhoGuy page, many people, they say that, you know, I want to dress up like you, and I ask them, why do you want to do that? Why can't you find your own personality, you know? Because if I'm wearing this, whatever mix and match I have done, because this is me, you know. So with this process, I am not just selling my product or the process, but then I'm empowering the clients that, you know, if I can do it, you can definitely do it, you know.
So people should feel empowered by their own style. They should feel that their own style, that, you know, that their own me factor to that style is what you feel,
and, you know,
is the mantra, guys. As per Mayur Rajput, the mantra for 2019, have a me style. So Mayur, now it's time for our cutting chai challenge, जहाँ पर we will be playing some amazing games, जिसका जवाब आप हमें देंगे, and if you are good at it, you will be getting this beautiful hamper by our gifting partner, Akar Creation.
Can I style you and get this hamper?
No.
Why?
We have to play a game.
Oh God, I'm nervous. Alright.
So now, okay. So the game is very easy.
Alright.
Do you know the most iconic Bollywood tongue twister? कच्चा पापड़ पक्का पापड़ 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 कच्चा पापड़ कच्चा पापड़ पक्का पापड़ कच्चा पापड़ पक्का पापड़ कच्चा पापड़. Alright. So that's what we are doing with you. हम तुम्हें देने वाले हैं.
I'm scared already. Do you know this?
I know.
Oh God, no.
That's where the fun begins. That's where the fun begins, my friend.
Alright.
So your first tongue twister is very easy. Upper roller, lower roller. And you have to say it fast 10 times. If you do it, if you say 2 tongue twisters, like you're rapid and fast and you're good at it, you get a hamper. Alright? So your time starts now.
I forgot also. I'm so nervous right now. Tongue
Okay, I'm
twister.
telling you. Upper roller, lower roller. Your time starts.
Upper low roller. Fuck. Listen, this is very difficult.
Yeah. I'll give you some easy one. Easier.
No, I can't do this.
अच्छा, easier one.
Yeah, please.
Okay. तोला लाम ताला तोल के भाग.
That's easy
तोला
for
लाम
you.
ताला तोल के तेल में तल गया.
तेल में तल गया हो सकता हूँ वैसे. तोला लाम ताला तोल के तेल में तल गया, तोला लाम ताला तोल के तेल में तल गया, तोला लाम ताला तोल के तेल में तल गया, तोला लाम ताला तोल के तेल में तल गया, तोला लाम ताला तोल के तेल में तल गया, तोला लाम ताला तोल के तेल में तल गया, तोला लाम ताला तोल के तेल में तल गया, तोला लाम ताला तोल के तेल में तल गया, तोला लाम ताला तोल के तेल में तल गया, तारा तोल फल.
Round of applause for him. Good man. Alright, and one last. Okay. Red rolly, yellow rolly.
Red
Rolly, yellow rolly.
Red rolly, yellow rolly, red rolly, yellow rolly. Fuck, I can't do this.
तो देख रहे हैं यार,
Red
मयूर
rolly.
राजपूत आपके जो सर हैं.
I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best, but then what is this yellow and red thing? It's red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow. It is nice.
You actually did not really win, but you know, it was like a 19-20 ka acha papad pakka papad, but we still give you a hamper.
Thanks
So
to our friendship.
Congratulations, and
Thank
you win a
you
beautiful
so
hamper.
much.
by
Thank you so much,
Akash
Chirag.
Creations. Thank you so much for coming on our show,
It
and
was
you're
a
totally
pleasure.
unusual, and what you're doing, you're literally inspiring so many young people out there. Thank you so much for being on our show. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much, Chirag, and best wishes for this.
Thank you. So guys, this was Mayur Rajput on The Unusual Beings. See you next week.